Mm.
So once again, we want to welcome everybody to the King and I Life podcast. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, on all of your major podcast platforms. And I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
Sun Soul Lex, and my co-host.
So touch it forward up in this joint.
And this is your girl Phoenix in the house.
So this is gonna be our part two to No More Good Men, No More Good Women. So we'll kick it off with are men slash women expectations too high? Do most people end up tolerating less than they deserve for the sake of being in a relationship? And are high expectations blocking the opportunity of finding that good person?
I think we kind of touched on that a little bit, but um, people do have high expectations. Not saying that you shouldn't have expectations at all, but they shouldn't be too high. Um, do people end up tolerating less than they deserve? I wouldn't say that a lot of people tolerate less than they deserve. I would have to say people um uh they don't tolerate it. They accept less than they deserve. They're okay with less than they deserve. Um, Sometimes they're okay with less than they deserve. And for what? I mean, if you feel you deserve more, then you should look for more. And you shouldn't be sitting around talking about, oh, well, I'm gonna just stay here because there ain't nothing else out there. Ain't nothing else out there because you close minded. You gotta open your mind up a little bit. You have to know your worth, know your value, and find someone who compliments and uplifts your value, straight up and down. Um, and that's all. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that.
I mean, I look at it as when we talk about expectations, right? You're expecting someone to do a certain thing for you, or make you feel a certain way because you expect that from them. Um, I think that there's a point where people have to stop and say, yes, I'm expecting this from you, but at the same time, what are your expectations from me? And again, I think that comes back to a point where you like um, the person or the individual themselves, they just want to be loved for who they are. I've heard that many a times, and I preach that. Just love me for who I am. Shit, don't try to change me into this or that or what your expectations are. So, if you have that, or you're trying to place that on a person that you're involved with, I think it does kind of put a little bit of pressure on the relationship because maybe your expectations are too high. Maybe sometimes
Definitely agree.
you don't expect enough. It
Hmm.
again comes down to what you and your partner agree upon. Like, this is what I expect of you. When I'm sick, I expect your ass to be there to help get me better. When it's time to pay the damn
Exactly.
bills, I expect your ass to pay the bills you agreed to pay. Like, certain things like that, I totally get. But when you're talking about, well, I expect you to take care of these goddamn 5 kids I got, even though you're not the father of them, I think that's kind of stretching it a little bit. But
Exactly.
to each their own.
Exactly. And and the flip side is, I expect you to deal with all of my baby mama's bull crap because you want to be with me is a
Mhm.
stretch. I don't got time for your siblings in your life, partner. I ain't got time. I don't have time. But yes, definitely what you guys are saying. Expectations sometimes, not just in that aspect. Sometimes you expect you out of somebody and they're not you, and it causes a upset. Um, and it's because you will walk through fire and hot coals for someone, and you expect that back, and they like, wait a minute, no, no, I didn't. That's not. That's not realistic for me. And it may be because, I have these 5 kids I have to take care of, or, I have parents that, I need to deal with, or whatever the situation. You can't go into something expecting you from someone. And I think that is one of the biggest head-butting things, is we go in expecting us from other people, in terms of how we feel like being a good woman or a good man is. And when we don't get that in return, it becomes a problem, because I would do it for you. This is what I'm willing to do for you. So why can't I get that back? Well, because that's not how I'm made up, and that's not my mindset. I'm going to do what I feel like is best for us in a whole, but only to a degree. Whereas some people go into a relationship and they just 10 toes down, and sometimes people are only 7 toes down. Like, this is not a, even in marriages, this is not a, I'm not a ride or die chick. I have questions. Why do we have to die? Is it absolutely positive that we have to die? Like, is there no other solution? I'm just not that chick. And I have been told sometimes, Kim, you need to just ride with me and don't ask questions. No, no, I have questions. Oh, I mean, Phoenix, fix that. Sometimes they're like, Phoenix, you need to just go with it. You don't gotta always ask me. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do have to always ask you. I need to know what I'm riding with you into. Because if you have a death wish, that is for you. It's not for me. And that is the expectation that a lot of people have, is you should do this for me because I would do it for you. I'm not. I'm not that chick. This chick ain't that chick. Can we
That's some
can we can we stop before we get to the death ride? I want out before we get there.
that's
Just
some
my
true shit
opinion.
you just said. For real.
Some of
That is some true shit you just said.
Just saying.
Wow. I'll take that, put that in my bag. Appreciate it.
is
No problem.
um some of that goes back into that baggage. Like uh, if you got 3 or 4 baby mamas and you expect me to deal with that, that's a bag I'm not willing to carry. It's too heavy for me. If you expect me to ride or die, I don't have space in my brain to compute that. I'm not good at math like that. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna try to solve um X for Y and try to find dummy. I'm not doing it. Um,
Mm,
you know, yeah. I mean,
I can hear y'all. I'll be right back.
All
I
right.
I just I just can't get with the whole um that expectation thing and all this, that, and the other, because at the end of the day, um, I'm not going to ask you what you expect of me. When I come to you, I'm going to have my own expectations of how I should interact with you based off of what I'm hearing from you, what I'm learning about you. So, and that person should do the same. Um, but I don't. For me, I don't expect a lot from people, and there's a lot of people that tell you, but you don't expect nothing. He don't say nothing. What am I going to say?
Mm.
I'm going to present to you who I am. It may change over time, depending on how deep the representative is, or whatever the situation may be. But I'm going to act accordingly. If you act a certain way, act a certain way. If you think I ain't a good man because I'm acting like this, well, I'm gonna have to look at you and say, well, maybe you ain't a good woman because I'm acting like this, because you're not a good woman. Um, just accept what it
Yeah,
is.
fellas that are listening, don't do what Soul Touch is talking about, because
No,
you
no,
know
don't do what I do, because
don't do that.
it works for me.
It's
I'm
a
surprised Soul
customized.
Touch is still. Yeah, I'm surprised Soul Toucher still has taste buds, because some woman should have been to slap the taste out of his mouth a long
Ain't
time
nobody,
ago.
ain't nobody gonna slap no taste out my goddamn mouth,
But
because
I do understand what you're saying, because one of my favorite things to say to someone when they're like, "Oh, you acting this way," and I'll say, "CC." The people around me know what that means. That means carbon copy. So
Exactly.
you're getting what you're giving me.
Yeah.
I'm a mirror, baby. So I feel
Well,
you on that,
Asians
but
don't.
I just
Uh, you know,
I
we're
think
not.
it's a I think it's the interpretation of what an individual feels like a good man or a good woman is.
Pretty much.
Some people feel like you a good man if you can provide and take care of the rent and the bills and the monetary things. Oh, he a good man, girl. He a good. That don't make him a good man. That makes him a good provider.
And sometimes a good dummy. Just to keep it 100 with you.
Yeah, that real
Not a good
simp shit,
dummy.
you know.
But then they'll be like, oh, she a good woman. She she take care of him. He don't have to stress because she pay all the bills or she pays all the rent, or oh, she a good woman because she cook and she clean. Oh yeah, she like to party, but she still cook and clean, and that don't make her a good woman. That makes her a good domestic partner. I just, it just depends. Um, People get stuck on bits and pieces of what a good man or a good woman is instead of the person as a whole, is what I find. Like, are you good as a whole, or is just some of you good?
Hmm.
Like a little bit, like are you like the top half on the left side of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich? You got honey at the top, and then you got marshmallow fluff at the bottom, and then on the other side you got jelly at the top and peanut butter going sideways. Like, where are you good at? Like, it means I gotta cut the perfect piece off of this sandwich to get the good. The rest of the sandwich is garbage.
Usually that means you got to cut the crust off because usually ain't no peanut butter and jelly at the end of the sandwich.
You don't make your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches right. You gotta go all the way to the edge.
All the
If you use the back, if you use the back of the spoon instead of a knife, it'll go all the way smooth to the edge, and you'll have a perfect sandwich.
Hey, and fill in the goddamn gaps if you have to. What you playing for? Come on now.
But I don't eat the crust anyway. I cut it off, peanut butter and all.
Hey man, you gotta make sure you got enough jelly on that thing. That's all I can say.
I don't like jelly. I just like
Okay.
peanut butter.
So has the landscaping for what men/women are willing to accept changed? Are assumptions that younger is better? Is dating older a safer bet?
I'll jump on that first.
All right, go ahead.
I got to hear what y'all got to say on that.
So I'll go first from the woman's perspective because I've dated older and I've dated younger. Hands down, the younger men that I have dated have been more ready to step into the role of being all around good men. They are willing to adapt and learn, whereas the older men were probably that when they were younger, and as they've gotten older they're a little more cynical and they want it their way. I've done it that way, I've tried it that way, and it didn't work out for me, so now I want to do it this way because this is the way that works for me. Which they can have great qualities and they can be good men, but they just may not fit into what I need from a good man. um, and that goes back to knowing your boundaries. That's a word, boundaries. You have to know the boundaries and set them, and be willing to set boundaries that are set by someone else. My boundaries are not, I want you to be good to me and share a home with me, and we play this little game of house, but every now and again, here and there, you want to be cool to go out and see somebody else, or you want to have the okay to cheat. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. You want the okay to cheat by saying, "Oh, I want to be poly um, at this stage in my life," but your version of being poly is I literally want to be able to be with other women, but I don't want you to do anything but be a good girl at home. I don't want you to see nobody. I don't want you to talk to nobody. That is my experience with men that have great qualities and could be great men, um, that are older, whereas the younger men are coming in and they're like, I'm good, I got what I want, I'm ready to settle down. Let me put a ring on your finger. Let's get this family started. Let's and they're really focused and content on um being that all around good guy, in a good relationship, and they want the, what I like to call the fairy tale. I want to go to work. I want to provide for my family. I want to be good to my wife. I want to be good to my kids. I want to put my best foot forward continuously, and I want to elevate and grow. Whereas older men feel like I've done all of this and I don't really particularly care for it, so I can be good to you, but I have a few vices that I'm not willing to give up at this point. That's what I've experienced.
Wow.
Mm.
Uh, I have, like you, dated younger and older. I will say the biggest um problem I had with younger females is jealousy for some reason. Um, but otherwise, good girls. I mean, do what they need to do, but kind of insecure to a certain extent. And I will say with older females, I think again they got into a place where they felt like because I'm older, I know better. So you should kind of do what I tell you to do. And I'm like,
They
no,
have that
fuck
mothering
that
thing
shit.
about them.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna do that shit. I'm gonna be me, goddamn. I'm gonna be
Yes,
son,
they
goddamn it.
they
But
yes, they do. I get that. So I
but
see it. I actually see it right now. One of my friends is dating way younger, and I keep telling her that's not your son, that's your man. You can't keep
mhm.
talking to him like that.
But both
Well,
sides of the
soul
coins,
toucher.
I've had good and bad experiences. I'll put it like that. Life lessons.
Life lessons, lessons and lessons.
That's it. On
Um,
you, sir.
when we talk about dating younger, I really can't say uh, whether younger is better or not because I haven't dated too young. I mean, I guess the youngest I've dated was 10 years younger than me. Um, and I would not go past that probably. Um,
Like then or now, because back then it would have probably been pedophilia. So,
no, when I did it before, I was in my 30s and she was in her 20s. You know,
but I'm
now,
saying if you went younger than that, you'd be a creepy old
hey,
man.
like, like, I mean, my thing is this: no matter how old I am, I would never, I could honestly never see myself dating anyone my oldest child's age. Um, and
Why not? They lit.
I
I
don't,
mean, that's what they say.
they may be lit, but
That's what they say. I don't know.
I don't have the energy to to analyze their mentality. Um, when I see someone like when I see a young lady that's probably let's just say my age limit will be 30 years old, will be the youngest I go. I would look at them as cute kids. Like we're not on the same type of time. Um, so I guess on average, between 3 and 10 years, I wouldn't say that that younger is better to that extent. But then again, it depends on the person. They may have experienced things that a lot of women that are younger have not experienced. They may want things that I don't particularly want at that moment, or probably don't want at all. Like, let's just say she's in her 30s and she want a kid. Um,
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. That was the one downfall that I found with younger. They want kids. I don't want. I'm good. I'm good on that.
been there and done that. Shop is closed.
Yep.
I'm not doing
Yep.
it.
Not
So
doing that.
for me, younger is not better because that's going to be a constant back and forth battle because she's going to want things that I physically cannot provide. She's going to be in a place that I mentally cannot tolerate. So I can't say younger is better. I'm not going to say that the women who are younger than me that I've dated have been horrible, but they have, their expectations and I have mine. Um, as far as older, I've dated up to 12 years older than me. Um, the one thing I can say to me that I like older women, shut up. What I like about older women is that some of them are more toned down. They're more they're in a different stage in their life and it's more where I can relate to because of the
Yeah,
experiences.
because it's
Even though
they're toned down because they're geriatric.
ain't no damn geriatric. Ain't this ain't geriatric. But um but no, but I would say a lot of those older women I've experienced more than them. A lot of them are more open-minded to a lot more things, whereas some younger
Yeah.
women would not be. So to me, it all okay, well, then you have to look at where is the security at when it comes dealing with that person, not what you bring to the table and what that person brings to the table is the security in that relationship that you form with that person. I'm talking mentally, emotionally, and whatever the case may be. You may find certain qualities in an older woman that you're not going to find in a younger person. I'm not going to say younger people don't have it these days, but again, I'm not going to query these younger people to see where they are at that moment because half the time you listen to half the conversations that they're having, it's like, oh god damn, you are a damn child. And it's like, I don't have the patience for that. I might want to pop you on your ass every now and then and hee hee ha ha with you, but when it comes to do I see myself kicking it with this little young ass? Probably not. You know, we could play on the merry-go-round, in the bedroom or whatever the case may be. But after that, it's like go home. Like go home. I'm
Damn
good.
it, man.
And that
Where you
surprises
at?
me so much because I thought that one of the biggest reasons younger girls always dated older is because their mom was more mature and they found that guys their age were immature. So I have had some of my most deepest, most um, food for thought conversations with dudes that are younger than me, like the kind that make you ponder for a few days and
Okay.
call back and be like, when you said this, I was thinking and let's expound on that for a minute. And they know what that is and they're talkative and they're expressive and they have insight. So to hear you say that, you're conversating with a younger girl and it's like, oh, she is really a child. Now, don't get it wrong. I've talked to some dudes and then just with my line of work, and I'm just like, wow, so you're a 35-year-old little boy. Oh, okay. That's not where it's at, but cool. And then I've talked to some 26-year-olds that seem like they've been here like six or seven different times. They've lived several lifetimes on this earth. It's just again, I think it's just truly what a person chooses to believe a good man slash good woman is. Um, and it's really a mind thing. I think it's really a mind thing. At the end of the day, I think it is maturity, and you can mature at any age. You don't have to. You don't have to be. I know 45-year-olds that act like 16-year-olds and 16-year-olds that act like 45-year-olds should act. When I was 16, I used to say I've been through more at 16 than most of you have been through in your adults. Um, I've seen more. I've heard more. I've been through more. So my maturity level is different because I didn't get a chance to do that in life. I had to do this instead. So I think that it's about when you mature. And again, maturity comes at any age. It can. Uh, I think role models are a great thing. I've noticed that when you see good men or good women, you know what it is and you can model yourself after that. When you don't know what it is. So unfortunately, we are products of our environment, and that's just us as a human race. Um, a lot of times, I grew up in a predominantly white town, and I got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of my friends, and the lives that they had. And I remember thinking, "Ooh, my mama wouldn't put up with nothing like that. Ooh, my mama wouldn't dare put up with that." And I remember thinking, "Why does your mom deal with this?" And it was because well, my daddy is a surgeon and my mama don't work, and so I see that a lot of times people put up with no good people because they're at a handicap. If I don't deal with this person and they leave, where does that leave me?
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned that a lot of good people deal with a lot of crappy people because they have allowed themselves to slip into a bond that they literally need that person. So they accommodate the crappiness so they can continue to live that lifestyle. So many people are afraid to start over in life that they just deal with whatever. Because yes, love is blind, but eventually them blinders fall off.
True enough.
And they be some of the main people hollering talking about ain't no good men or good women out there. It's like, nah, it's not that ain't no good women or good women out there. You chose to sit yourself in a bad situation. Um,
Exactly.
and that person that you with might be good or might have been good. They might be just fed up with you. And
Yep.
instead of the two of you trying to find the good in each other or your situation, y'all walking around mad at each other, bitter and taking out on each other in the world. So it's like you going out
Yep.
in the world talking about, oh, this joker here and blah blah blah, and ain't no good man, and I need to find me a good man, and then you start this whole cycle again where you man bashing or woman bashing who you got at home to your potential fling out there, and you goosing their head up thinking they are the knight or the nitrous in shining armor, and it's like, nah, you gotta look, sit back, get it together, um, and understand where you are. But as far as yeah, the older and younger, um, another thing that you have to look at when you look at younger and older is yes, you have to look at those experiences. Yes, you can take those people at face value that hey, they may be mature for their age, or they may be
Mm-hmm.
immature for their age, whether they're younger or older. And then to some degree, you have to look at it as is this person serious or is this person spitting that game that they learned from somewhere? Um, you got to take all of that into
Yep.
consideration. They might come at you spitting that game. You know, your little youngster come at you spitting that good game, whether it's a female or male, because they, hey, gift the gab is everything. And
Mm-hmm.
they may come at you talking good with other intentions, but you spit that game right back at them, and then that knocks them down a few pegs, and they really have to keep that. Hey, I got to keep talking like this because this is what I walked myself into, and
That
some
representative. That
yeah,
representative, boy. It's hard to keep that representative out. It
yeah,
is hard.
and sometimes that's where you find out if you really are dealing with a good person or a bad person, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's representative or not, because it might be a good representative that's leading you to a good person. or maybe representative to a bad person. But you have to get to know who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and see if that conversation is going to be sustained overall, younger
Right.
or older. Because I've I've I remember the first older woman that I dealt with back a long time ago. Boy, my head was in the clouds. I was like, this older lady checking for me. And the next time I saw her, she was with a different man. And I was hard. My little young ass thought I was Mr. Man because an older woman checked me out. Boy,
And
hurt my little
Hey.
feelings.
well, all right. With that being said, once again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the King and I Life podcast.
Yeah.
Please stay tuned for part 3. I'm pretty sure it's part 3 because I've been writing it down.
It is part 3. Yes, sir. We'll be
As
rolling into 3.
for sure, as we bring you the conclusion of good man, good woman. Are there any left? So
Yeah.
once again, check us out on all your major podcast platforms. And we are on Facebook and we are on YouTube. And
Yeah.
thank you once again. Peace.
Peace.